What's good, everybody? My name is Landmark and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Chromatic, which is a loop-based VST from LANDR. And if you're familiar with LANDR in the past started off as a mastering service. So basically, I'd create a song and I need it mastered, and I could just upload it to their website and create this master version of my song. But over time, they've transitioned into making plugins, and now that's what we're into today, is looking at this loop-based VST that they've created. So in short, Chromatic is a sample-based VST that has taken artist samples and placed them across the keyboard, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use that today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So just off the top, LANDR works inside any major DAW, and I primarily use Machine unless I need to export. I export into Pro Tools, but for the most part, I start all of my projects in Machine. So I'm going to show you how I use LANDR inside of Machine. So we're going to start here, just basically inserting the instrument into the timeline. So go down to LANDR, Chromatic, and there it is. I'll bring it up by hitting this little button right here. Opens up a window. So this is the UI. It separates it into moods and sets. Under the moods tab, you can see the different vibes that you're looking for. So this is primarily like what I'll go to because it's very specific. This is either for me a song starter or a filler. For me personally, when I create music, I've been using this instrument as one of those two things, whether I need to start something from scratch or I feel like something is missing in a song that I've created. I'll come to this and try to fill the voids that I'm finding in my song. So you have all of these different moods, or you can just go under sets and pick out different a set from all of these different artists. Now the interface, it's okay, but I do like how you can see like the artist. So from an artist perspective, like it's nice to have your image superimposed within the VST, so you can it gives a little bit of credit, like, yeah, this is us, like this is who we are, and this is the stuff that we've created. This is the first edition of this VST, so over time I assume it's just going to get better with time. Primarily, if I'm looking for a song starter, I'll go under moods, and let's just go under chill vibes. And it has an explanation of what all of these sets are within this category. So chill out with lo-fi sounds inspired by vintage vinyl and retro aesthetics. So whether it's drum loops, synth leads, tape hiss, all of these different samples from all of these different artists. Some of them are drums, some of them have both drums and melodies. So this has a very, very striking resemblance to a similar VST output, Arcade. So if you've used Arcade before, this is going to be very familiar to you. It's a little bit short of what Arcade can do, but I assume over time it's going to have the same capabilities. And I'll show you what I mean when I load one of these up. So I'm looking for like a song starter. Let's load it up. And so here's the interface. So you have a set of effects here at the top: filter, lo-fi, reverb, delay, effects, mix, and the output of the sample, volume. And down here is your interface. So all of these keys right here correspond to these middle keys right here. If you don't have a keyboard like this over here, you can actually just use your standard keyboard to play all of these samples, and that uses this middle row, and then the black keys use the top row. Or you can just click on each one of these. And each one of these samples plays according to the key that you have up here. So you can choose your scale, whatever key you want these samples to be in, and it will adjust all of the samples to the scale that you're looking for. So let's look at E flat major. I don't know, I'm just picking something random. Let's change it to C major. So you can see that it changes all of these samples to match. So let's go back to E flat major. So the black keys up here at the top are effects, and the white keys are the samples. Now each one of these black keys does a random effect. I'll show you exactly how those work here. All right, so I'm going to play a sample and show you what each one of these black keys actually does to the sample when you hit it. So here's a sample. This right here is a tape stop. So that's cool. This right here is reverse. You see what it does to the sample here? Starts playing it in reverse. These are different stutter effects. So this is like double, triple, quadruple, like stutter effects. X2 plays the sample at twice the speed. This is halftime. This one right here will pitch the sample up. This key pitches the sample down. This key right here is a pitch sample down at halftime. And this key here is like a random stutter. It doesn't really work well for that specific instrument, but you can get pretty intricate with using that. So that's just like a quick breakdown of what each one of those black keys does. So what happens, what I usually do whenever I'm using this sample is if my sample is too high, I can always use the pitch down, this one right here, to play that sample in B major at the lower octave. So just a bunch of different options as far as how you want that sample to be played. And the speed of the sample all depends on the BPM of your project template. For me, this is Inside Machine or whatever DAW that you're using. So I can speed this up, let's say 160. So to me, that sounds a little high, so maybe I might want to take that down to the lower octave and play that same sample again in B flat major in the lower key. So that's a way to diversify your sample within this interface here. So I want to stick with E flat major, go back down to, I don't know, 90. It's got a little boom bap beat. I like these chill vibes, this piano sample and stuff. So we'll stick with this and try to create something. So I'm just going through some of these samples, and you can play them all together to build up your track, So I want to go back to just or I can play them all together. Pitch it down if I wanted to. Lower octave. For a song starter, this is pretty much all I would need to get something started. The only downside here is that you can't edit the start point of the sample like you can in Output Arcade. But, I assume, like I said, this it's the first iteration of this VST, and I assume it's going to grow over time. We have more capabilities as time goes on. They'll make changes over time. So let's see if we can get something started. All right, so I have 3 different patterns that I can choose from. Each one of these patterns has adds a little bit more to the song as it goes on. So I like those 3 little samples that I picked all together. Now I'm going to move on to some drums. And normally, what I would do for drums is I use LANDR as like some accent stuff because there's some kits that have like hi-hat sounds. I primarily like to just program my own drums, but I also like to use loop-based uh, samples for fills or hi-hats, or something to give a little bit more dynamic than I can necessarily give on the machine itself. I feel like that's a great fit. I'll set the hi-hats a little bit to give it a little bit of swing. So this is a good example of how I would start a song in Machine using Chromatic. Is I would find a nice little melody and build on top of it, use some of the packs to find some percussive elements, and or I'll pull up a project that I've been working on and I couldn't find, like there was something that was missing, and there's also some vocal chops in Chromatic, some vocal samples that I use to kind of fill the void of something that was missing. So I'm going to show you that right now. So here's a project I had pulled up. It's in F sharp minor. I had played some chords in F sharp minor, and I was looking for something, and I started browsing through the vocal section. And I found this pack called Rising Voices. And so I'll play a couple of the samples and play the beat and then show you how I filled in the spaces.
Leave me alone. Oh, oh. Take me into your arms. Said last night, I know you love me. I know you need me. I had a feeling. Call me. Ooh, 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 ooh. When you need a friend.
So if you're interested in Chromatic, you can go to LANDR.com, go under Create, and hit Chromatic, and download this VST. It's $9.99 a month, just like Arcade. Same vibe where you have all of these different artists contributing more and more over time. So the libraries will continue to grow, and you'll just have more and more to choose from. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. If you're trying it out, I'd like to hear how you guys use it or your opinions of it. I know like it's gonna have a very stark comparison to Arcade, and Arcade is well established, but there's room for everybody. There's room for LANDR. There's room for other companies to come in and create these tools for us as artists and creatives to use to exercise our creativity. So appreciate you guys' time. Thanks for watching. Links are in the description below. Like, subscribe, and all of that. Thanks for watching. Peace.